Okay, refast.
PV, or photovoltaic cells, convert sunlight to electricity, providing a source of CO2-free and renewable energy. Installing a wedge worth of PV would require arrays on an area of 2 million hectares. The array would be located on land or roofs or walls on buildings. Achieving a wedge of emissions reduction would require increasing the deployment of PV by a factor of 100 in 50 years, or installing PV at about 2.5 times the 2009 rate of 50 years. PV currently provides less than a tenth of 1% global electricity, but by investing more money and time into PV, the CO2 count would drop naturally.
This wedge would require the usage of natural gas in place of the fuel used today. Natural gas has a lower carbon emission, and producing electricity with natural gas results in only about half the emissions of coal, and this wedge would call for using only natural gas in place of all of the gas used today. In order to make this wedge possible, 1,400 large natural gas plants would need to displace similar coal electric plants. The negative side of this wedge is that the amount of natural gas that is needed may not be available.
A wedge of emission savings could be achieved by applying carbon management strategies to all of the world's existing agricultural soils. Soil carbon loss can be reversed by agricultural practices that build up the carbon in soils, such as reducing the period of bare fallow, planting cover-up crops, and reducing aeration of the soil. A wedge of emissions savings would be achieved if the fuel efficiency of all the cars projected for 2060 doubled from 30 mpg to 60 mpg. A typical 30 miles per gallon car driving 10,000 miles per year emits a ton of carbon into the air annually. Today, there are about 600 million cars in the world, and it's predicted that there will be about 2 billion passenger vehicles on the road in 50 years.
Cutting emissions by 25% in all new and existing residential and commercial buildings would achieve a wedge worth of emissions reduction. Carbon savings from space and water heating will come from both end-use efficiency strategies like wall and roof installations and renewable energy strategies like solar water heating and passive solar design. The largest potential savings in the building sector are in-space heating and cooling, water heating, lighting, and electric appliances.
This wedge requires that the number of miles traveled by the cars of the world to be cut in half, significantly reducing the amount of carbon emitted by the gas usage. Negatively, this could result in increased public transportation and increased electronic communication, which results in This wedge requires that the number of miles traveled by the cars of the world to be cut in half, significantly reducing the amount of carbon emitted by gas usage. Negatively, this could result in increased public transportation and increased electronic communication.
Producing the world's current coal-based electricity with doubled efficiency would save a wedge worth of carbon emissions. More efficient conversion results at the plant level from better turbines, from using high-temperature fuel cells, and from combining fuel cells and turbines. Coal-burning power plants produce about 1/4 of the world's carbon emission, so increases in efficiency at these plants offer an important opportunity to reduce emissions.